Monkey separated from his family at a young age and had been living without a father at home from a very young age. He had to rely on Mother Monkey alone, and there were a lot of challenges and lessons he had to learn on his own. Wow. Now, if you're familiar with Monkey's content, you know that Monkey appears very soft and supportive on most topics. But in this video, you'll see a very stern side of Monkey, because this is something Monkey speaks so passionately about. The intentions here are only good and come from the heart, because these are values Monkey really wants. He wants you to instill them, interpret them, and listen with intent, because they will help you so much in life, as they helped Monkey. Poof! So, without any further ado, let's get into them. Please start something. Many young monkeys feel a lack of purpose and accomplishment because they can't take action. We can call it that. We wait for the perfect time, or we wait for the perfect opportunity, or we wait for permission to take action in our lives and actually accomplish things. When? Now, similar to when Monkey was young, many monkeys sometimes talk ourselves out of opportunities. Monkey had ideas but didn't take action because he talked himself out of certain opportunities, and in other cases, we simply just don't know what to do. Monkey's advice is always follow and take action on something you're passionate about. And even if you don't know the next steps, it's okay, because taking this action is more likely to lead to the next step and result than not taking action at all. You don't need to start a company. You don't need radical change. Start messy, but just start. No one is coming to save you. And I know this might seem a bit harsh, and it's very unpleasant for most of us to hear, but as we grow older and become adults, the only person we can rely on is ourselves. Wow. Up until a certain age and up until a certain point, monkey parents will be there to support us, but as we grow older, we have to rely on ourselves, and we have to count on ourselves to save ourselves. You know, Monkey got to a point in his life where he was desperate for assistance. He was begging for assistance. Monkey couldn't rely on his mother. She didn't have the financial means. And this was a massive turning point for Monkey because he realized the only person who could get him through the situation was himself. Poof. And through this process, he struggled a lot. It was incredibly difficult, but he knew he couldn't have a victim mindset because if he stayed the victim and played the victim, he would never be able to achieve anything. Now, this doesn't mean you have to do everything on your own. This doesn't mean there aren't people you can rely on. But to take that first step, get yourself off the ground and take action, you have to do it for yourself, and you have to be dependent on yourself. Please, you are the hero of your own story, and you have to act like it. Master the basics. Don't be sloppy. Keep yourself well kept. Keep yourself well groomed, because monkeys will take you a lot more seriously. But as you're working your way up the ranks, and as you want to be taken seriously, and as you want to be treated seriously, it's very important that we uphold a very good, positive self-image of ourselves. Wow. And you don't have to be rich, you don't have to wear the best branded clothes and use the best branded fragrances, but simply keep yourself well kept, keep yourself well groomed, have a good skincare routine, brush your hair, use a nice fragrance, because these actions, especially in the business world, a clean exterior represents a clean interior. Poof. And many monkeys judge us. They judge our work ethic based on our outside appearance. Now, as much as Monkey wishes that were not the case, this is the world Monkey lives in, and this does apply to the vast majority of businesses, corporates, professionals out there, and it's very important that we give off a good presence and carry a good image. Mastering the basics shouldn't cost much, but the payoff is just so worth it. So please don't overlook the basics. Please learn to take criticism without falling apart. If you don't have the ability to listen to critique and interpret and listen to that critique, you're not going to be in a position where you can improve yourself. Many monkeys take it as a personal attack when they're given criticism or critique. The most successful monkeys that Monkey knows welcome criticism. They ask for criticism, they ask for input, and they ask how they can improve something, especially when being approached or surrounded by monkeys that know more and have more experience. Because if you can't do that, if you're simply not receptive to that input and to that criticism, you're just not going to be able to level up. We become so entrapped within a certain space and within our own mind because we don't have the ability to expand outside of that, and ultimately we just become stagnant. Wow. One of the most important pieces is your friend group can either make you or break you.
Especially for young monkey audiences, I need to profess the importance of this particular point because you are the company that you keep. If you have 5 lazy friends, you'll be the 6th. If you have friends that don't support you, push you, motivate you, drive you, you're just not going to get to where you want to be in life. Ugh. There was a time in Monkey's life when he experienced this not once, but probably a few times, and he was on this trajectory for personal self-development, self-improvement. Monkey wanted to grow his finances, he wanted to work on his physique, and all his friend group wanted to do was go out, party, drink alcohol, get drunk, and Monkey was ridiculed by his friends for wanting to go to the gym and work on himself. Wow. Then Monkey realized the need to surround himself with more positive influences. He went from a very large group of friends to a very small group of friends, but it was a very small group of like-minded friends, and they had the same interests, and they had the same passions, and they had the same drive. And truly, that's when he started to flourish. Poof. So what I want you to do is audit your friends. Sometimes we have to cut ties with friends. It doesn't make us evil, ugly, or a bad monkey. We just have to evaluate the value that we get from our friends. It's the same as being in a relationship. It's either a positive relationship that uplifts you, or you're in a toxic relationship that pulls you down. Don't let a breakup define you. I've seen this so many times where monkeys or couples break up, and the monkey being broken up with just completely loses themselves in the process. They question their worth, they question their integrity, they question their actions, they question everything. Ugh. Sometimes they're just holding on to so much anger and hatred and confusion that they end up altering their personalities, and they end up becoming someone who they aren't and who the monkey they were with didn't fall in love with in the first place. Don't question and overthink the breakup too much for yourself, especially if you're the one being broken up with, especially if you're the one being cheated on. I know a lot of this can come as a surprise, and this will often take a major knock on our confidence because you're left feeling not good enough. Wow. Don't alter yourself in the process. If you've done everything in your power to be a good partner, to have a good relationship, don't change the good values and good qualities you have, because those values that were overlooked by someone else are the values that are going to bring so much joy to the next monkey you meet in your life. Poof. So please, let the breakup grow you and not define you. Confidence is not arrogance. Please, you need to know the difference. Confidence, in retrospect, is the monkey in the room that is silent and observant. They're taking in their surroundings, they're interpreting what monkeys are saying, and then they speak confidently on a situation, or they speak confidently to a monkey once they've thoroughly established the environment. It's not about being the loudest monkey. It's not about how many bananas you make. It's not about how many bananas you spend. It's not about how many girl monkeys you've been with. What? That is not confidence. That is arrogance. That is egotistical. That is insecurity. That is wearing a mask. So let's establish what the difference is here between arrogance and confidence. And what I want you to be is more confident. Have confidence in your appearance. Have confidence in your abilities, because that is going to impress monkeys a lot more than the flashy things. Poof. So please don't confuse arrogance with strength, and don't confuse power with loudness. Stay grounded, stay humble, and let your presence speak for itself. Learn how to say no. One of the greatest forms of self-respect is the ability to say no. Wow. And I know this is hard. This is something that Monkey particularly struggled with, and often he was taken advantage of because he was the nice monkey. He didn't want to disappoint monkeys, and he didn't want to say no. So that very simple word, those 2 very simple letters, no, are so empowering when used appropriately. Poof. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to hand over and relinquish your power to someone else when you do something against your will, because you don't have the ability to stand up for yourself and know where to draw the line when it comes to your own moral compass and are able to say no to someone. So please learn how to say no from your chest and leave it at that. Write what you'll do in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Change your life one small step at a time, monkey.